Good afternoon and welcome to the Roads and Right-of-Ways Committee for March 19th. This meeting is being conducted strictly on Zoom, remote access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. It will be available for viewing for those that were not on the call on the town website. This meeting, because we are Zoom, all roll calls will be conducted for attendance and on any votes. Zoom participants are asked to identify themselves, which is taken care of at the moment. And your name will be noted on the screen, which will help Lee as he's taking notes. All Zoom participants are asked to mute their devices unless addressing the committee. Public comment will be taken throughout the process. And that being said, we will start with a roll call as soon as I have a pen. Alan Reinhardt.
Here.
Lee Saperstein.
Here.
Phil Smith.
Here.
Ed Gillum.
Here.
And Bill Greeter. So we'll jump right into our agenda. We're running a little late. Be to approve, looking to approve the minutes of February 20th, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Alan. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Ed. All those in favor by roll call? Alan Reinhardt.
Aye.
Lee Saperstein.
Aye.
Phil Smith.
Aye.
Ed Gillum.
Aye.
And Bill Greeter, aye. Thank you. Next on the agenda is just a letter, and it was included in the packet, but it was from the Surfside Association regarding Hawthorne Street. And let's see. I can get that ready. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
So that is the letter from the Surfside Association regarding Hawthorne Street. And it has been sent to the DPW, some folks on the select board and the Plus department. And the author of that, or part of the sender of that, is on the call today, Dee Dee Cole, and
And I must say, I'm married to Tom Sidlowski, who's the head of the Surfside Association. So he
Kitty,
had,
I always thought of him as Mr. Coyle.
but he did speak to his board. He did do it very officially, but I will admit that I'm married to him. So
it's not everybody willing to admit that, you know.
I hope not too many of us.
Bill, just to return briefly, we have had word from the DPW that they have considered our request, the committee's request, and we'll take it into advisement. But until they clear issues with the Conservation Commission and also security or safety on the steep bluff down to the beach, they don't want to mow anything that would invite people to get closer to the edge. The notion of a viewing platform is certainly something to which in our earlier meetings we subscribed.
Ed?
As I was saying earlier, and I'm sure Dee Dee heard us when we were off the record a little bit, I went down there last week, and I went to the property abutting on both sides of Hawthorne. And I know from the stakes that were done for the Anglin property towards Snowbird Beach side of Hawthorne, that where the Concom stakes were from the bluff Coastal Bank and all were tagged at 25 feet and 50 feet. So there's an arc across there, and I actually have a map of it. So I kind of went down to where you would be on the lot, you know, in other words, on the paper road itself, because they wouldn't mow all the way to the bank anyway. They would keep a 25-foot buffer because they'd have to in this case, because it's a no disturb buffer. And you do get not a sweep of blue, but you do get blue, you know, towards the airport and over there that way, and you get it back towards the other direction, back toward the public beach at Surfside. It's not uninterrupted, but there is a view there. Let's put it that way. Where you'd have to put a platform would have to be 50 feet back at least, and if the Concom regulations change, it might be 75 feet back, and that's before Concom, I believe, this Thursday. So stay tuned to all that. In other words, there is a way to open it up. There is a way to get closer to the view, but I think that's about as far as we get on the Concom side of things.
Thank you for that information.
All right, so if there's no other discussion on that, we'll put that on the back burner, but it hasn't left the stove, Dee Dee, so.
Well, thank you very much, and I will continue to be pesky about it. I'm sorry, but it's, you know, it's Hawthorne Street abuts my property, but I'm like a third of a mile back, but I'm very aware of where it is, so I will keep bugging you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Dee Dee,
Thank you.
thank you. Regards to you and Tom.
All right, bye-bye.
If you got nothing else to do, you can stay with us.
I think I'll go, but thank you.
Oh, okay.
I have my other volunteer gigs. I volunteer at school to help with fourth grade, so I'm good on that. Thank you.
Okay, well, this is sort of like being in fourth grade.
No, you're much better behaved.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Good to know. All right, so next up is just a quick discussion on Bunker Hill Road in Sconset and Alliance Lane and Pilgrim Road. And those were just for points of discussion for us to, each of the members that came up with this particular item. Snooky's not here, but he brought Bunker Hill Road, and he's doing some research on it, but it's not ready to present, but just it was on the agenda in case he was ready. Alliance was brought forward by Rick Atherton. He's actually out gathering signatures for the select board position. And so same with that, he's brought it up for discussion, and we'll just table both of those until the proponents are ready to present something. And then Ed is the one that mentioned Hawthorne, not Hawthorne, excuse me.
Sorry, Bill, who mentioned Plymouth? I'm sorry, Pilgrim. Who mentioned Pilgrim?
Ed Gillum.
Oh, okay.
Ed?
Okay, through the chair. Pilgrim is on both ends now. There's new signs, and I have a picture of the signs. I don't have it where I could share it on my screen here. Unfortunately, it's not in my computer. But and I did some research on some of the properties down there that I've dealt with over the years, and it is indeed private. But I'm thinking that this is a future one to keep an eye on, because there's quite a lot of development on Pilgrim Road, and actually quite a lot of traffic that goes through there, and it's in really bad shape as it were, especially from construction. But it's one kind of like Wind Street, like the the Wind Street, the public part of Wind Street is abysmal, and the private part of Wind Street is actually the one with the tarmac, or the paved part, I should say. But I think Pilgrim Road is going to become more and more in need of services. They've run sewer there now, down through there. Some of the homeowners have actually run private sewer even so there's town water, there's sewer, in some cases. But And it's kind of becoming a major road. So it's one to keep an eye on. I'm not pushing that, we fight and make it public if people don't want it there. But I think you're going to find that the people that are on Pilgrim that are going to eventually want it to be made public. So that's why I mentioned it.
Ed, this is Lee, and right now I'm looking at the GIS map, but I'm going to get rid of that so I can see you.
You want me to bring it up while you're talking?
No, well, you could, but the real issue is, in my mind, when a way is seemingly appropriate for taking, we get input from the DPW because they may have it on their list as well.
I made a call to the DPW with that in mind, but I haven't received a answer back from the new, at the DPW yet. I made it last week.
Sure.
Right. So, but he's a busy person. So
The other person might be Mike Burns.
true, and I haven't consulted Mike.
All right, so we'll just keep that in
Because
mind.
when I opened up the GIS, it was pretty clear that Pilgrim Way would meet several of our critical criteria. It connects to public ways. It goes through to Westchester. It's fully built up. It doesn't look like there are any empty lots on it. And so emergency vehicle access would be critical. The one thing that we don't have is a request from neighbors and abutters.
A little late, but there it is.
Yes, and I don't know who actually put the signs there that now say they're private. I will have to check and see if I can find the picture of them. But there's now one at both ends of the road, whereas before there was not. So someone's obviously decided that they don't want the public coming down the road as a cut through, perhaps. But the public does use that road as a cut through quite regularly, quite frankly. So, and there is development there. There's still probably 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 lots, 5 lots on Pilgrim Road that I know are about to be developed in the next year. So.
Yeah,
It's my understanding that even though it's a private way, they may not block traffic, but I'm no attorney.
Yeah,
And if there is resistance to the taking, I'm not sure this is something. I'm not sure it's a wasp's nest into which we want to stick our hand. It would be nice to know what the owners think.
It exactly would be nice to know exactly what the Pilgrim Road owners think, because in some cases, I think the Pilgrim owners will be, they will like it because of the improved property values, perhaps. But in some cases, they may not like it because it might be an invitation for more of the public to now know about it, whatever. I don't know.
but I just added the utilities, and you can see that it's got water main.
Sewer's not on there yet, but there is sewer down through, I know through 35 and all the way down to the bend of the road on.
Yeah.
From left.
Looks like one end's got sewer and one end's got water.
Yeah, I think they both actually have water, but yeah.
It looks like the water comes, at least on this rendition, goes down Old Westmore Farm Road instead of continuing down Pilgrim.
Though the properties you're looking at, 7, 9A, 9B, all have water.
Okay,
100% certain of that.
so evidently this just hasn't been updated yet.
Yeah, they just haven't updated the map.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay,
I think it all has water, to be honest with you.
well, I'm sure at some point, if we make note that we're looking into an actual taking, that we certainly will hear from the folks on that street.
I don't know how you go about actually canvassing the neighbors unless, is there a particular mechanism for doing that?
Ed, it would be ad hoc if we decided that we wanted to pursue it.
Okay, all right. Maybe we'll take it through some private channels first and find out what some of the ones we know on Pilgrim Road. think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are we through with this discussion on this particular thing for the moment?
yes.
Okay. Following along with that, speaking of the DPW, and the sewer department, as we go to broach in the next subject of our website content, just about every meeting we talk about, well, we should check to see if that's public, private, whatever, and what's going on. And so it dawned on me that we really didn't have any sort of list of what's the town considers public. And so I reached out to both David Gray and to Drew and asked what they had for, what do they do for keeping track of new roads? And so David Gray said he always checks for the DPW because they're running a list and adding to it every time developments are put in or whatever. And so Drew got back to me and said that they had, Mo had just updated that list fairly recently. So I've asked him to provide us a copy of that so that even though it's a working doc, that it's got far more information on it than we currently have. So it'd be nice to know, for example, when we're yakking about a particular road, well, oh yeah, it goes in between this other road, which already is a public road. So I think that'd be very helpful for us as we're moving forward, trying to do stuff. Lee?
I'm gonna look at Phil Smith because he's had a lot of talks with Nathan Porter, and Nathan keeps at least the GIS as up to date as he can, and he's got public, private, and golly, I don't know. I believe it's on his map. It's called unknown. And whether or not Nathan's file matches the DPW is something that might be worth finding out.
Yeah.
You want me to talk to him?
Well, let
That
me
might
see
be
if
a
I can
good
get the
idea.
list from Drew and we can actually check it out ourselves. So we have an idea of what is actually there. It won't take too long to find out if it's up. But anyway, you can certainly reach out to him, but
Let's get the thing from the DPW and look at it.
right,
Then we have something in hand we can go to Nathan on.
right, that's what I was thinking. So, okay. So the next item on the agenda is continuation of our discussion of what we have for content on our webpage. And it really was given a little shot to pursue this more when Alan lost some of his documents when his computer went south and gobbled up some of the archives that he had. And so I started to think about what we could do, and I was talking with Maureen Coleman at the town hall, and so she was really appreciative of the fact that we would think about trying to bring forward some documents that might be buried or might have been lost when they recodified the town website and changed a lot of the different policies and bylaws and whatever. And so I was talking with her about the idea of having some sort of folders and stuff. And so I'm going to bring up, she's actually started something for us to consider on how it would work. So let me get rid of the, before I share it. let me get rid of what I had for the GIS. And let me share my screen. So can you see this
Hmm.
website now?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep,
So what Maureen did was up in this corner up here, she stuck this up here. If in fact it works out for us, I'm thinking that it would be more prominent to have it down here. But if you click on this now, it takes you to the archives, and this archive section was started by when Catherine Stover was
Hmm.
town clerk, and she got some grants to have some electronic microfiche. And so there's things on here that back to 1979 for minutes and stuff. And if you just went on the main website and went in up and put them up in the search, you can't necessarily, or you don't necessarily find stuff that's been archived. So I thought this was really an interesting discovery. And so, for example, I was looking for some past roads and right-of-ways reports for the annual town report, and I couldn't find them on the web. So anyhow, this is what's in there with the documents in here, and I wanted to bring it up for discussion to see if you thought this was in line with what we were talking about doing.
Hmm.
There's some of the stuff is spotting information. But to my mind, it's something to start with. So I don't know what people's thoughts are, but I toss it out there.
I just think it's a great idea that we would have that and not just be dependent on one person's laptop.
Exactly, yeah. No, I agree that the clip that you just showed a minute ago about the right-of-way plan, or maybe it was the improvement plan or something.
Yeah,
That was a very detailed plan that laid out a number of areas where we wanted to make progress. And it really formed the basis during those, some of the early years when we were, when the community was a little different.
yeah. I'm I've got a doc here I'm gonna stick up. Uh, And get with you just a second, Lee. So this is, if you can see it now, this is what we currently have under title. This is what's currently on our website, down under other interesting links or whatever. And
Mhm.
so certainly we would want to migrate this stuff into the section that would be that folks would be able to grab a hold of and open up. And like, for example, down in the 1975, 1799 roads, if we had a roads formula, certainly those would be in there. Plus, whatever we got a working doc from the DPW, we could, I would think, have that particular document labeled, public roads as of such and such a date or whatever, and then as things changed, could be upgraded. So anyhow, this is what we currently have. you know, we've had so much, interest in, this Sconset Bluff stuff. The work that, Alan and Lee have been doing on the Nantucket Railroad. You know, as we find other documents, and information about the railroad, it would be, really great to have a folder that had Nantucket Railroad info on it. Anyhow, those are my thoughts. Lee?
Bill, hi. Yes. Lengthy reports should go into the archives, but I believe we should still keep a link right there on our main page to information that the public might use right now. A good example would be the trail map. We shouldn't force them to go into the archive because we're now talking about 2 or 3 pages before they find what they're looking for. So yes, let's keep information. Unlike Alan, my backup is a hard disk attached to the bridge to my laptop. So if my laptop goes square, I still have stuff, but that's a different matter. It's what is important to this issue is it's on my computer or in my computer system, and it's not available to the public. So yes, there's some things here. The ownership, I'm looking at your list, the ownership map, the trail network, whereas the right-of-way improvement plan might be in the archive. And so we could put some of the links to the archive in that list. But the stuff that would be useful for the casual visitor to our page, I think we need to keep in that list.
Yeah,
Helpful
I
information.
was thinking the same thing. Some everyday stuff could be under, helpful information, and then, below that would be the archival, thing so that you could go looking for things. And that would also facilitate the ability of, if somebody, was on, you know, for example, I go back to the Sconset Bluff, committee, that had quite a number of, folks on the committee, and they did a lot of research and stuff. You know, it'd be helpful to have that all lumped together under Sconset Bluff Walk or whatever. So I think my thought is, to meld both of those things together and stick it in this section someplace. It's interesting if you go to the main, and by the way, every department has this section. It's just not readily noticeable unless you know that it's there. And so if you got a second, I will. It takes a minute to realize where it was. So you go to the town main page, you go down to digital archives and public records. Takes you to this public records request, as you can see, but over in the left side where it says digital archives, that takes you to a section where you can select these items. I don't know if you can read it on the screen, but boards and commissions, departments, newsletters, and websites. So if you went to board and commissioners, there's all kinds of information there that takes you right to a particular area instead of having to search and hunt for it. So I thought I didn't realize that this was all there until Maureen pointed it out to me. So anyway, for what it's worth, that was my website 101 primer.
Very good.
Great.
Bill,
Yeah.
will you get any staff help on this? Because they might be interested in using us as a prototype?
So what Maureen asked was, she said if the members, meaning you folks, had anything that you felt that wasn't you couldn't find on the website. Now, if you went to the regular search spot and you had something that you couldn't find, to beam it to me, I would. So she wants everything to go through one person, so she's not inundated. And then she wants to work with us on, and I was jotting down. You know, we'll take her suggestions, but however it is that we label the stuff so that when somebody's searching, they know they don't have to look through a ton of documents, they can get very specific. So she would then take care of getting it on the site. And she was thankful that we were taking this task on, or at least thinking about it. And it sounded as though she was hopeful that it would work out so it could be used in other areas, or the same sort of thought process. So we'll see. I guess, you know, we're a small group, and so maybe would be a good testing area. So
One of
Like,
the things about
Yeah.
the stuff in roads and right of way is we've always been very project oriented. And we have minutes that go as far as the development of the project. Usually there was some sort of a statement, a goal statement, but the important thing are the final reports from, like, for example, the Wisconsin Beach Program. There was a final report that was there that sort of summarized and condensed all the work that we did along the way. I believe for the encroachment policy as well, Joe Marklinger, who took the lead on that one, we had a number of discussions which appear in the minutes and so on, but it was finally, the final result of that was the policy, encroachment policy, that I believe is still in effect, that was approved by the select board.
I mean, one of the things that might turn out to be is the stuff that's not currently in that archive section has not been scanned. They send the stuff all off island, it gets scanned and then put up on the web. I think she's embraced or was receptive to the idea that if we could identify things that were available, if you put in that report you're just talking about, it may come up unless you can really get specific search criteria so that you bring up that one document, it may come up with 100 pages that have those words in it. You got to look at each one of them to narrow it down. I would think that if we found a document like that, we could flag it and then have that in its present state show up in this section of ours that we're talking about. So you could have like one big beach folder with stuff that was done in there. So I don't think it's anything that's going to happen overnight. I think it's going to be a slow process. And I think it's sort of, we go in baby steps if this is what we want to do. And we'll just see how it goes. I don't think we'll run out of material to look at. So anyway, any other ideas? So with your blessing, can I contact Maureen and find out a way to proceed with this so we can go in a timely yet methodical fashion?
Hmm. Yeah.
Anybody disagree with that?
Is that a motion?
Just
I
I
don't
can do a motion, or we can do consensus, whichever you guys want to do.
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine too. I just don't know how we all vote on it or not vote on it or whatever.
All right, I'm making a motion that way it's there, so go ahead. Somebody want to make that?
I'm making a motion that Bill goes to Maureen and um on the website review to make it in a timely fashion, or to make it a project that moves along and has some methodology to move along in a timely fashion.
And help bring clarity to our documents.
Right.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion? Alan Reinhardt,
Aye.
Lee Saperstein,
Aye.
Bill Smith,
Aye.
Ed Gillum,
And
and Bill Greeter, aye. All right, I think actually, does anybody have anything to bring forward they want to add?
I think this is a great project because, there's so much stuff in these archives, so much information that's in there. Over some, because there's a lot of years, not just the minutes. And of course, we've been fortunate to have a great minute taker. We have detailed minutes, plus we have these reports that we've issued and all that sort of thing. And there are items, for example, the encroachment policy. Every time I go out to Warren's Landing and I see the rocks, just rocks lined up in the roadway, making it essentially a one-way situation, and it's a clear violation. That's why we spent so much time trying to develop an encroachment policy. And of course, the enforcement is always the key to any policy we adopt. But with that policy, just making it known to the DPW and so on, that's sort of the spur to maybe enforce some of these things that we've been able to achieve.
Great, okay. Ed?
I totally agree with Alan. I'm going to throw a tangent in here, but and then not for a lot of discussion, because I'm going to have to actually exit the meeting in 5 minutes, one way or the other.
Yep.
These rocks are everywhere. There's people now putting hedges in the road that in front of their fences that are making it look like, and they're landscaping between the hedge and their fence, making it look like that's their property. And a lot of this is because they don't want people parking in front of them. They don't want trade trucks there for days at a time. They don't want, the town does no bonding when you do these projects. Quite frankly, I personally feel that they're supposed to bond, restore the roads the way it was when they started the project, but that's another question. Is it possible to have a move afoot, made afoot, where if we don't want people parking in certain areas, we start doing yellow lines. That way there are yellow lines in front of their property. So that really says you can't park in that area. I think that would get rid of a lot of these obstructions, a lot of these 4x4 posts, these rocks and stuff like that. If there were lines there that clearly demarcated that this is not a parking area.
So,
I'm not sure if that's a kind of a solution down the road to some of these obstructions.
knowing that you've got a bail, we're time short, how about, if I reach out to, cause it's all would have to go through, traffic safety group, Art Gasparo's group. I'll contact Art to see if there's, what his thoughts are, if he has would have any support for that. And, we can make it an agenda item, and at least start the conversation, to get input from other departments.
Great, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Just make a note for myself. And so before Ed leaves and we lose our quorum, just to let you know, at our next meeting, the April 16th, will be a hybrid. We will have the trailer meeting as well as the Zoom meeting. And on the agenda will be Jeff Carlson and Chapter 91. Hopefully, he'll bring his epistle and we can check that out and have some discussion about that. So
Sure.
that'll be on the April 16th meeting and it will be hybrid.
Correct.
From everything I have heard, and it's not saying a lot, but Jeff probably knows more about Chapter 91 on the island than anybody else, and he has all the records. So
Hmm.
I asked him to bring some of the records with him so we could just sort of see what it is.
Hmm.
Okay, great.
Bill, I'll be coming in via Zoom.
Okay. You're gonna be on the Queen Sandbar, or you're gonna be on the,
I'm going to be in Southwest London.
all right, well, we'll try not to keep you up too late.
It will be 9 o'clock.
All right, so we're about to lose our quorum, so we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second,
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bill Smith,
aye.
Ed Gillum,
Aye.
Lee Saperstein,
Aye.
and Bill Greeter, aye. Great, thank you, guys.
Okay.
And, have a good weekend.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay.